Away from the restlessness of the urban world lies an old sanctuary, a place where the blending of culture between local natives, explorers from the West, and the caravan Arabs for centuries gave birth to a World Heritage Site. I'm going to let you peep through the window into the history that defines Africa and let you trace the footprints of great explorers. Located just 70 kilometers from where the big metallic birds land is this historic town that is crowned as the oldest town in Tanzania. A coastal town, so you get to catch a breeze and become one of the big extended family in this coastal town, a home to all mankind. It's our tradition to take our newfound friends to see our humble Swahili town. Amidst the new Bagamoyo is the caravanserai, the birthplace of the name Bagamoyo, that means rest your heart. This storied building housed caravan traders and slaves who stopped by to wait for calm waves to enable them cross the Indian Ocean to Zanzibar.
Bagamoyo means lay down any burden of your heart or lose hope. This is because of the long journey that the slave used to travel from the interior to the coast.
It is evident with the collection of original coins from as early as 1888, the silver rings, the old banking system, and certificates of freedom given to freed slaves, signifying the end of slavery. Today, Caravanserai still stands strong and has been transformed into a tourist information office, the headquarters for Bagamoyo's Department of Antiquities, as well as the display of its prosperous past. So let your soul wander free to the famous Kaole ruins of the 13th century mosque in the south of Bagamoyo. This is probably the oldest mosque in the mainland East Africa.
Kwa haya makaburi ni hao Waarabu walikuwa hapo katika karne hiyo.
Near the northern mosque, you can find 22 tombs, 8 with pillars and the others without pillars. Visit the holy graves and get the story behind them. The pillars were decorated with Chinese porcelain, which are now on display at the National Museum and House of Culture in Dar es Salaam. Near the mosque, fundaments of a stone house have been excavated. Chinese porcelain, beads, and other materials found in the field indicate that the house was used between the 15th and the 16th century. Then your eyes settle on the oldest stone building in the whole of this old town. The old fort, made of mud, sand, and mangrove trees, that has defied time, is still standing strong, having lived through its 3 transformations from a slave house during the Arab reign to a German garrison house and a prison cell during the British rule. Climb to watch the tower that stands high and get the vision of the magnificent ocean view. From this tower, the German soldiers used to spy on the approaching enemies. Forget the chit-chat. Look at the decorations on the original doors from the 1860, still intact, and read the meanings as you feel in touch with the past.
Bagamoyo, it was a town 19th century, very important as a slave port and ivory, the first capital for the Germans of East Africa.
Don't close the doors yet. Witness one of the greatest history ever told, the old church tower, where the body of Livingstone was laid for 1 day before being transported to his home country, England. and it's known to be the first Catholic church in the whole of East Africa, thus introducing Christianity to East Africa. And the museum has over the years preserved timeless moments, the Germany later of liberation of the last slave.
This is a cross, and this area is known also cross area because of this cross. The original cross was planted in 17th of June 1868 as a symbol showing of starting preaching the gospel of Jesus to spread Christianity in East Africa. And so they started here. That was Father Anton Horner and Father Etienne Bauer.
Have the opportunity to learn more about culture at the Bagamoyo College of Arts and see the performance at the theatre, topped with an international Bagamoyo Arts Festival in September. After all, mingle with the community and discover the most.
Bagamoyo has got so many tourist attractions. Among of them is Tasuba, the former Bagamoyo College of Arts. Students from different parts of the world come here to get training in traditional dances, traditional music, fine art, acrobatics, drama. So you are most welcomed to Bagamoyo.
Treasure art that has been a passion turned into an economic activity. Be a partner into the flourished lives of the natives. Come to the vibrant side of Bagamoyo, where the ocean is occupied by busy fishermen, working in brotherhood and singing the traditional morale booster songs as they fish and work at the large dough-making arena. Have a bite to the mouth-watering spicy fish you can ever find in East Africa. As the day unwinds, several spots serve you with Tanzanian hospitality and the local cuisine that will leave you wishing that time stood still.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are most welcome to Bagamoyo. This is Kaole Ruins. Kaole was among of the earliest coastal Swahili towns along the coast of the East Africa, which existed before the 9th century. But before the 9th century, this area it was inhabited by the Africans, who were Zaramo and Wakweri. But in the beginning of the 9th century, the site of Kaole was inhabited by the people who were coming from the Iran, from the Shiraz. So these people were coming here by using the monsoon winds, and they settled here. And it became very famous trading towns along the coast of the East Africa. So I can say this was among of the earliest coastal Swahili towns along the coast of the East Africa, which existed before the 9th century. It was declined during the end of 18th century, and because the people to move from here to Bagamoyo Stone Town. So now it's just a ruins, but also its archaeological sites. Here we have different kinds of pillars and graves. But one of the things we can see here, it was among of the earliest mosques along the coast of the East Africa, which was constructed during the 13th century. So you are most welcome to see what we have here. Of the earliest mosque along the coast of East Africa, which existed or was built around the 13th century. It was built by using a coral, which was founded from the sea, and also had a flat roof, which was supporting by using a mangrove poles. And this, to my left-hand side, this is a staircase, which it was used by the leaders who was calling the people for prayer, so was going there because they didn't have a loudspeaker. So in order to make the sound, they used this staircase. And this is a well. As you know that the Muslim, before going to pray, they should wash their body. So the well has been started since the 13th century. But now the water have been used as the holy water for the most of the Muslims, but even non-Muslims, they believe this water can help you to remove bad lucks if you wash by using this water. This water tank also was built around the 13th century. So this is the mihrab. It's the place which it used for showing the Mecca direction, where the Muslims are supposed to face when they are praying. But another important of these structures, it was used to produce the sound, because they didn't have a loudspeaker. So when the leader is standing here, there is an echo sound. So this it's a graveyard. It's known as the Shirazi Group's graveyard. Most of these graves which was constructed here was built around the 13th century. To my right hand side here, you can see this is the one of the very important graves. It said the graves of the Sheikh Ali bin Juma, the Shirazi group leader who came here with the 7 wives, it said. So most of the graves with the pillars associated to his wives. And these two graves here, these are graves of his daughters. Wherever you see the graves which has got a very beautiful decoration, short pillars but round in shapes, these are said are graves from the royal family's members. This is the lovers' graves, where 2 lovers who were buried close to each other. It said these people were sailing by using dhows from Zanzibar to Kaole. But before reaching the port of Kaole, the dhow sank. But when their dead bodies were found, their clothes were tied together and were touching from each other. So the people who found the bodies, they decided to burn them very close. So nowadays we call us lovers' graves. We got the names of her, also it's written in here in Arabic. This is the Sharifu graves. Sharifu are descendants from the Prophet Muhammad. So she was died here around the 15th century. So nowadays it's very important for the Muslims who are making a wish. Wherever you see the graves which constructed by using a roof, which has got a pyramid roof type like this, I say they are graves of the Sharifs, who are descendants from the Prophet Muhammad. This here are mangrove forest. The mangroves are salty tolerance forest or swamp ecosystem, which occur in the tropical and the subtropical coastline. Here in our coast of Bagamoyo, we have got 9 species of mangroves, but here you can find 2 of them. One of them is known as the Mchu or Avicennia marina. Welcome to Kaole Site Museum. This museum, it's a very, very interesting museum. It's a very small but interesting. Inside you can find some of the archaeological artifacts which have been founded during the excavation here. So you are welcome. The stone town of Bagamoyo was the first capital of the Germans in East Africa. And this building you can see here, this was the first German state house, which was built during the 19th century. The building has got more than 50 rooms. On the ground, it was used as the office, and upstairs, it was used as a residential for the German colonial governor. It was built in 1890. You are welcome to the compound of the Roman Catholic. The place here you can see the first church of the Roman Catholic in East African mainland. And you also can see the place where the dead body of Dr. David Livingstone was rested for one night before transported to UK. And also it was the former freedom slaves. When the Roman Catholic came here, we are trying to save the slaves from the slavery. So we are buying the slaves from the slaves market, and you are kept here in the Christian Freedom Village. And these slaves were trained in agriculture, carpenters, and masons. So you are most welcome.
This is among of the earliest stone buildings, or is the among of the Swahili architecture house. You know that, as I said before, that Bagamoyo is very rich in history. The variety history of Bagamoyo left our town in a very rich architectural heritage, which is needed to be protected and safeguarded for both historical and cultural reasons. But the large part of this heritage consists of buildings like this, which is built by using a coral and mangrove poles for roofing, for making a flat. Although influenced by the foreign ideas, but the architecture is not a replica of any known architecture, be Islamic, Arabic, or Indian. For example, this building, as what you see, the window is typical Arabic, but when you look on the door, that's the Indian. The courtyard, that's the European style. So the building has got both Arab, Indian, and European. That's why we say this is the Swahili architectural house. And the Swahili architectural house developed along the coast of the East Africa about 1000 AD. 1000 AD. You can find exact building like this. Not only here in Tanzania, but from the coast of Somalia. Because these people who came to the coast of East Africa, before came to Tanzania, they settled in Somalia since the 9th century. We are coming by using the monsoon wind. The north winds were taken from their country, and the south winds were taken back. So before came to Tanzania, they settled in Somalia. They founded the town like Mogadishu. Barao, they came down. Mombasa, that's the Kenya. They came to Tanzania, up to Mozambique. So the whole coast from Somalia up to Mozambique, before the Berlin Conference, this coast was known as the coast of Tanzania. And Tanzania means the land of black people. Which means when the Persians come from Iran, when the Baluch coming from India, from Baluchistan, and the Chinese were already met with the Africans here along the coast. That's why they call it the Azania, means the land of black people. The name was changed during the Berlin Conference, and they called the coast of East Africa. So this is a part of the cultural heritage here along the coast of East Africa. Historically, the building was built first by the Arabs, only the main building, with only one-story house, and it was used as a residential for the representative of the Sultan of Zanzibar. As what I say down there, that 10 miles from the sea to the interior, this was belong of the Sultan of Zanzibar. So the Sultan was built this one, and he used it for his representative. So when the Germans came, they took over this building. In 1891, they decided to build that defensive wall. That was built by the Germans. And another courtyard rooms were built. And it was used as a garrison or military camp by the Germans. After 1918, when the British came, the England people used it as the town prison, the same building. After 1961, also our government was continuing to use it as a prison. After 1974, when the prison was shifted out of the town, and then it started to use as the Bagamoyo police post. After 1990, When the building was too late in 1990, it was taken by the central government and it was renovated by the finance support from the European Union. Then from that time, we started to use it as a college for the conservation skills of college, but for the short time, later on we continued to use it as the office for antiquities department. Up to now I'm talking about the office for antiquities department. It's a department which concerns to preserve this cultural heritage that are working in this building. But another interest is the carving. The carvings which you can see there, it's not only the ornament. These carvings are telling something about the owner. So in general, the door show or express the wealth and the status of the house owner. So we have two kinds of such doors, which are Arabian and Indian. But these are Indian. On the Indian door like this, down you should find the ananas, pineapple, and the family. These two things we are indicating the Indian economic activity. Coconut, I think I've been explaining from the beginning. We see it was among of the oldest cash crops. So it was the trading, it was the cash crops, it depended on the economy. So the Indians, they kept up to show what they are doing, the economic activity. But the only Arabian store, down here you find the fish and the smoke of incense. Fish symbolize fertility. Smoke of incense, as you know that incense has been used for a very long time in a religious ceremony. They burn Christianity has been used, originated from Egypt. Until now it's still used. So it was kept there as a permanent prayer. Another, which shows the Indian influence, are lotus flowers. It's a lotus, which symbolizes generation or reproductive power of the house owner. So if you see the door, it's got a very big flower decoration like this, shows the respect of the Indians for the whole nature, which represents God. The rest carvings you can find on board, either Indians or others. For example, it's a chain. It's a chain. Symbolizes security. Yeah, they use the chain to chain the slave. So they kept here as a security symbol. Another interest are the roots of date trees. Very sweet brown fruits which grow in the desert area. Very nice, very important food for the Muslims, especially during the Ramadan. When they are fasting, they prefer to start with the dates as a breakfast. So here, it's kept here as a permanent prayer. Although most of the people believe that if you pray nearby this plant, your wish will go very deep. Yeah, because it's got a very long roots penetrating into the ground soil. So they believe that if you pray near this plant, your wish will go very deep. So here they kept the roots, but the roots are going to the sky. Most of the people, they believe the God is there. So it's like a permanent prayer to go to the God. Another are metals. These are metals. If you go to Zanzibar, or you see the pictures from Zanzibar Stone Town, you can see very huge door like this, but in copper material. So this we are covered with the copper material. The importance of this to the East African coast is the show, or is the sign of the wealth people. We are covered with the copper material. We are very expensive. If the door has got a Belgian number like this, it shows how rich you was. You left your money outside to show people. You see? Like nowadays, if you put more gold or Tanzanite on the gold, people they see they are not mad. So it's like this. But it's different in India. It said in India, it was used to protect it from the elephant. To come inside. There are so many elephants in India. But in East African coast, these are symbols for the wealth. And the door has got two parts. We have the female door and the male door. So once you want to close it, you will start with the female. Ladies first. This is the female. And this is the male. Put like this. This was used long with a very big padlock. Here we are writing the names of the house owners. Sometimes we are writing the protection from the witchcraft. But nowadays people, they write in the piece of paper for the protection of the witchcraft and they put it inside. But you open like that. The mat it was used as what she did. It was used instead of the veranda. This could be used. And mind you that from the time immemorial, this it was the front side. The wall was not there. So it was used also as a veranda for fathers sitting and socializing. But sometimes to check it, sure that the wives and daughters are safe. That is the source of the veranda. Each house should have the complete wall. So all people from the courtyard, they should pass to the main entrance where Father is there. That's why I said that sometimes it was used as a checkpoint. But nowadays things have changed. Even the women are sitting the veranda. But in the time memorial, it was not possible to see the woman in the veranda. Okay.